Man, so it looks like Madame Genet is the main villain of Daryl Season 2. Oh, okay, I get it. It's a twist. Alright, so Lo Zhang is the main villain of Daryl Season 2. I can't keep up with this. Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for the Walking Dead universe and another video for Daryl Dixon. We're going to be going over your guys' questions and comments, of course, guys. You guys left a bunch, so of course, if you have any others, we'll probably do a second part to this Q&A because, you know, it is the finale, of course, and we are getting ready for the end of Season 2 of Daryl Dixon. If you didn't see it yesterday, we did a non-spoiler review for the finale of Daryl Dixon, so if anybody wants to know any kind of, minor information or where to set your expectations or anything of that, sort of thing, you can go ahead and check out the video from yesterday. We give you all that information in that video. So, man, episode 5 was very well received, actually. Very, very well received, which I'm happy about because, again, it's always unfortunate when things don't go well, you know what I mean? We've had it with Fear the Walking Dead, you know what I'm saying? It's always, it's not enjoyable when things are not enjoyable, to put it that way. And this season of Daryl Dixon, unfortunately, from the fan base, I've seen a lot more negativity than positivity. However, this episode is definitely not that, and I'm glad to see that, and I fully agree. Episode 5 was a really stellar episode with a lot of really good scenes, a lot of really good writing, and I thought, for the most part, with, the exception of a few minor problems I had here and there, it was a great episode. It really was. It was a great episode, and I thought they did a really good job with it. In particular, seeing the battle in the catacombs, I thought was a fantastic sequence. So, I am very curious to see how this finale goes for people. I'm very curious to see how you guys kind of respond to this episode. Obviously, I'm sure we'll get some more information on it as the days progress here, and we're going to be doing a bunch of discussion videos getting ready for the finale, because after that, that's it, So, yeah, but I wanted to start off with an interesting one here, because I want to see if I'm the only one that has this kind of, I don't know, opinion on this season, which is that Daryl Dixon Season 2 has a villain problem. It does. It has a massive villain problem. They don't know if they're coming or going. So what I mean by that is that they advertised Season 2, right, of Daryl Dixon. They advertised it as the season of where the pouvoir is going to come after our crew, and we're going to get a big war, and it's going to be this big thing. And we got that conflict. Then they put it on pause, and they let Lo Zhang be the main villain of episode 2 and 3. And then, for some reason, in episode 4, we got Genet again. Awesome. She got killed off. But then Lo Zhang took over Genet's people. I'll never understand how that makes any sense. But somehow, Lo Zhang took over Genet's group, which, as I've stated in videos many times before, it feels like as if you would have Dwight in The Walking Dead Season 7 captured by Rick's group at the end in the Season 7 finale. And they don't trust him. They're holding Dwight captive. They don't know if they can trust a word he's saying. And then somebody takes out Rick, and then they're like, oh, by the way, Dwight, you're the leader now. You know what I'm saying? That's what that's like with Lo Zhang. It makes absolutely no sense that he would take over. But with all that aside, of course, I kind of let it pass, and I was like, all right, well, let's see what Lo Zhang is like in episode 5. And he was good in episode 5, and I thought he made for an interesting threat. But then he died, you know what I'm saying? Which I'm like, okay, it was a cool death, but at the same time, you really made him the villain for only one episode? You know what I mean? And then now in the finale, as I'm sure you guys can tell, and it doesn't take a genius to know that this is what's going on, his right-hand woman, I forget her name, Jensita or some crap like that, she is now the main villain of the finale, you know what I'm saying? So they're switching it, like episode 4, Genet, episode 5, Lo Zhang, episode 6, this chick. So, I don't know, very weird writing this season. It's like they can't make up their minds. I don't know. I personally wouldn't have done all those kills back to back in that type of fashion if I was writing it. But again, teach their own to David Zabel, I suppose. He's doing what he wants to do. And, I guess he feels like it's a fun plot twist or something to put villains in leadership positions and then killing them off, right away. But again, we'll have to see. I did enjoy Lo Zhang's death, though, so I'm not complaining too much. I did enjoy his death scene. I enjoyed his final fight with Daryl, so I thought that was all really exciting stuff. But I will admit that, yeah, they are switching out their villains a little bit too much and kind of, lacking on their screen time, at least in my opinion. I feel like Genet could have had way more backstory, way more history to her character before they killed her off, as I've mentioned before. I think that Lo Zhang could have had a little bit more development as well, too, and I think they could have switched up his motives a little bit. Maybe not so much on the whole prophecy thing all the time. And then, well, the right-hand woman of Lo Zhang, honestly, I mean, they just should have developed her more in general, to be honest. But thing is, with her, you still have time. You know what I'm saying? She is the main villain now, so we'll see where that all kind of goes and where that kind of leads us. But, I'll tell you one thing right now. Season 2 of Daryl Dixon, if there's one reason right there why I can say that Season 1 of Daryl Dixon's a better season is that, well, Isabelle's death, but you guys know my opinions on Isabelle's death. But also the villains. I find they have such a big villain problem this season. They don't know how to juggle all their villains. And I find that's kind of a problem with the story, is that I don't feel like all these villains are getting enough screen time because there's so many of them that you don't know where to frickin', turn to next. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a bit of a writing problem this season for Daryl Dixon. And I do admit that they do kind of have a bit of a villain problem this season. Yeah, I do agree with that. But anyway, guys, let's get into your comments now. Let's get into your feedback for episode 5 of Daryl Dixon. The first one for today comes from Zaz, who says that, Dan, do you think that the pacing of Season 2 of Daryl Dixon is a little bit too much like the quality of Season 7 and 8 from the main series? Also, do you think that it's become a little bit random how characters are just showing up to random communities all the time and they're all just kind of going, around and stuff like that? What do you think about that? Well, honestly, no. I still prefer Daryl Dixon Season 2 a hell of a lot more than I do The Walking Dead Season 7 and Season 8. Simply for the reason that I think the writing is just a bit more tight. I feel like there are still enough things that are good about this season. Meanwhile, Season 7 and 8, I think, have massive issues. Like, issues that still damage the franchise to this day. You know what I mean? But though Daryl Dixon doesn't do that, I will acknowledge this. Yes, one thing that I have noticed about the writing is that characters are just everywhere. Like, Lo Zhang is just everywhere in episode 5. And like I said, it's such a small detail that I don't bother to flaw that stuff. I'm pretty easygoing when it comes to stuff like that. But I will admit, yeah, he just shows the hell up in, like, every location that they go to. Like, yeah, it is a little like, really? Dang, okay. But, it's for the plot. It's for plot convenience. I understand it. So I'm not going to be too nasty on it. But I will say this. Daryl Dixon Season 2, yeah, I will say this. It is not to the par of Season 7 and 8, but it's also not one of the higher rated seasons either, I'd say. It's, as a matter of fact, probably a lower rated season for me of the franchise than a higher rated season of the franchise, but again, that might not be true, because again, now that I think about it, there's a lot of seasons of Fear the Walking Dead out there. There's a lot of seasons of that World Beyond garbage that they aired. I mean, that's why I'm saying, like, a lot of people say, like, oh, yeah, no, like, Daryl Dixon is not that good or whatever, and I'm like, it's still one of the best, it's one of the best spinoffs we've ever had. Like, even to this day, I still say it's one of the best spinoffs, because when you compare some of the writing to Daryl Dixon to Fear the Walking Dead and World Beyond and all this other crap, it's not even close, honestly. Like, that's why I always appreciate Daryl Dixon in comparison to those two shows, because it's a lot better in the writing. Absolutely. The next one comes from Dr. Smarty Pants, who says that, Dan, do you think Codron could ever meet Negan one day? I think he could if Gimple kind of, pulls his, head together a little bit and decides that, what, the logical thing for this franchise is to do a crossover. You know what I'm saying? That should be why we're watching all these spinoff shows. So no, I agree. Absolutely. And I do want to highlight, in particular with Codron episode 5, Codron was a beast. I mean, he's probably even my favorite character of the episode. He was really good. I liked his redemption. I liked, him showing up at Falou's compound. Some of the dialogue he had with Laurent, Daryl, bringing Laurent to the club and stuff like that, getting him to safety. I thought it was all really, really good. Codron is a character that I think, even though he doesn't always get the most screen time in the world, I think he's a really good character, and I think that the actor is very underrated. I think the actor is very good, Romaine. Very, very good. Romaine Levi is a fantastic actor. I know some information about his actor. I know that he's a big fan of The Walking Dead, and I know that he's, been a massive fan of The Walking Dead for many years, so I guess it makes sense why they give him a role like this, but I am appreciative that they're keeping his character alive as long as they are, because I gotta be honest, I did not think he would last this long. I really didn't. So, very, very impressive. Very good character, too, so far. I really like him. Next one comes from Ridicule, who says that, Dan, honestly, do you find it a little bit kind of ridiculous, I guess, in some kind of way? The next one comes from Ridicule, who says, Dan, do you find it a little bit ridiculous that Laurent wants to stay in France even after finding out that Isabelle is dead? No, I honestly don't, and the main reason why is because, you gotta keep in mind, The thing that I would say is, logical is that he would want to stay in France because that's the most people that he's ever known. And he doesn't want to lose any more people that he knows. And also, he kind of explained it to Daryl in episode 5. He's like, I don't want to go with you, Daryl, because I don't want you to die. And if you die, I got nobody. You know what I'm saying? And, that is kind of a true thing. You know what I'm saying? That is kind of a sad fact, if you will. So, no, I get that completely. And I think it makes sense. I think the part that is frustrating about this Laurent situation is how tame of a reaction that he had to Isabelle's death. I mean, the writers practically skipped the scene. Like, you just cut to it and he's already looking at the photo like, oh, that's sad, Daryl. Like, I'm like, what the frick? What? Like that was the one thing I was disappointed in this episode. If there's one thing I could say that disappointed me, it was that. His reaction to Isabelle sucked. I mean, it sucked. Like, it was bad. I get he's a young kid. I get he's a young actor. I'm sure that's what people are going to say. Oh, Dan, he's a young actor, And yes, fantastic job, acting-wise. It's not an acting problem. It's a writing problem. I don't know why the writers just didn't give us any kind of reaction from him to Isabelle's death. It's like they didn't care, you know what I'm saying? Which I would say that's a very big piece. She's practically his mother in this apocalyptic world. So, I was expecting a bit more of a bigger, impact than that. But he just kind of looks at the photo and he's like, good night, Daryl. I'm like, what the frig is going on? Anyway, yeah, no, seriously. I find they don't push that kid enough, like the Laurent actor. Because in season 1, he gave this emotional performance, in 105, where he's like, I don't want you to go, Daryl. I'm going to be all alone, and that was actually a good performance, but it's like, in season 2, I find they just, they're not doing anything with this kid. He's just, there, and then he's not, and then he's there, and then he's not, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm trying to connect with Laurent, but it's hard sometimes. I don't really deeply care about Laurent like a lot of people do, but I'm trying to, but I don't know, it's something about the material that they're giving his character. I'm just like, he's so blah to me, like he's so meh, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that way, but that's how I feel about Laurent. It's like the biggest, whatever, oh, he's there, you know what I mean? I cared more about him when Isabelle was around, because I genuinely liked Isabelle's character. Laurent solo, I'm like, I don't know. He's there, he's fine, but he's nothing special, you know what I'm saying? He's not this Messiah, you know what I mean? So, don't even get me in that topic. The Messiah crap, oh my god. Next one comes from OT, who says, Dan, do you honestly think that maybe, just maybe, because we didn't see Daryl actually bash in Lo Zhang's head, do you think that Lo Zhang could potentially be alive? So, we'll wrap up with this one here. I've heard a lot of people say that Lo Zhang could be alive, which I'm like, I mean, I would hope the hell not, admittedly. I think we gotta, keep her moving, and I don't think so, because I thought I saw blood on the skull there, but I will call out this. It's not a flaw with the episode, but I will mention it, because I didn't mention it in the review, admittedly, because I went over the scene a few more times, and I kind of noticed this. Lo Zhang's death is very, very censored. Like, I'm talking, Rick killing Winslow in 710 of the main show type of, tame. Like, it's very censored. They don't show anything, which for Walking Dead standards, I expect a little bit better. But, again, the death is good, so it's not a big deal. But I will say this. I would have appreciated seeing Daryl actually, bashing him in the head. You actually see that crap, too. Like, call me a sicko, but it's The Walking Dead, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I'm talking, when Negan killed Brandon in 10:05, you know what I'm saying? They didn't stray away from that. So I don't know why they didn't show that, but I don't know. I get that the show maybe, has a high budget, and, sometimes they don't want to spend a budget on something so minor, but, I mean, it is still a villain. I'd like to think that they should have given him a gruesome death, and it was a gruesome death. It's just, we didn't see it. So, I don't know. Very interesting one there, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you guys think about all this stuff? I'm very, very excited to see the finale, and, well, for you guys to see the finale. I've already seen the finale, but I'm excited for you guys to see the finale, so we can talk about it, discuss it, and hopefully we'll get a Season 3 teaser after this as well, too, low-key, after the Season 2 finale, because we got that after Season 1, so it'd be cool to get a Season 3 teaser. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Post comments, post your opinions down below, and of course, guys, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy videos like this, be sure to click the subscribe button to not miss any other videos of The Walking Dead. Be sure to follow me on Dan's The Walking Dead review, subscribe, guys, and of course, I'll see you guys very soon for our videos of The Walking Dead universe. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.
Born in the dark alleys, city of concrete. Dan's reviews blowing up, never taste defeat. Walking Dead dissected, every plot twist beat. World gone mad, TV junkies hit a treat. Typing up scripts, marathon through the night. His opinions hit harder than a street fight scene. Every episode, brain sharper than a knife. He's the beacon of critique, shedding TV light.